Want to speak real Romanian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at RomanianPod101.com.
Bună! Sunt Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi! Sunt Raluca. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Romanian phrases. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Romanian. You'll be surprised how easy it is. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's start with a polite and common way to introduce yourself. Bună! Sunt Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi, I'm Raluca. Nice to meet you. Bună! Sunt Raluca. Îmi pare bine. The first word is bună, which means hi or hello. After that comes sunt, which means I am. Then say your name. For example, bună! Sunt Raluca. Hi, I'm Raluca. Finally, say îmi pare bine, which means nice to meet you. So altogether, it will be bună! Sunt Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi, I'm Raluca. Nice to meet you. There is also another way to say your name. Instead of sunt Raluca, I could say mă numesc Raluca. Mă numesc literally means I call myself. But we use it to mean my name is. Bună! Mă numesc Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi, my name is Raluca. Nice to meet you. Bună! Mă numesc Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Again, let's take a look at these two ways to introduce yourself. Bună! Sunt Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi, I'm Raluca. Nice to meet you. Bună! Mă numesc Raluca. Îmi pare bine. Hi, my name is Raluca. Nice to meet you. Now, it's time for Raluca's insights. In formal situations, people in Romanian-speaking countries greet each other by shaking hands. On the other hand, if we meet someone we are very friendly with, we kiss each other on both cheeks. So don't be surprised if this happens to you. Do you know how we say thank you in Romanian? You'll learn how to say this and many other words in the next lesson. Pe curând! See you soon!
Bună ziua, doamnă! Mă numesc Paul Iordache.
Îmi pare bine, domnule. Mă numesc Popescu Georgiana.
Îmi pare bine, doamnă. Domnule profesor, cum se spune a fork în română?
O furculiță.
Puteți repeta încet, vă rog?
O furculiță.
Puteți să scrieți, vă rog?
In this lesson, you're going to learn how to use good manners as you thank people. Sunteți pregătiți? Are you ready? Să începem! Let's start! Saying thank you in Romanian is very easy. It's just one word. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc means thank you. To say thank you very much, you just need to add foarte mult after it. Foarte mult means very or a lot. Mulțumesc foarte mult. Mulțumesc. Foarte mult. For a simple thanks, mulțumesc will be enough. If you'd like to say more than just thanks, mulțumesc foarte mult is good to use. Now, it's time to listen and repeat. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc foarte mult. Now, how do you respond to thank you in Romanian? It's easy. The most common way to say you're welcome is pentru nimic. Pentru nimic. Nimic means nothing. So pentru nimic literally means it's nothing. But we use it to mean you're welcome. So when someone says mulțumesc to you, you can simply reply with pentru nimic. Now it's time for Raluca's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use mulțumesc or mulțumesc foarte mult, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Mulțumesc can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time.
Bună, mă numesc Masanobu.
Bună, eu sunt Andreea. Bine ai venit în România!
Mulțumesc! Sunt încântat să te cunosc în sfârșit.
Și eu sunt încântată de cunoștință. Să mergem să vedem orașul.
Cu drag!
Bună, mamă! Ți-l prezint pe amicul meu, Masanobu.
Bună ziua! Mă numesc Masanobu. Sunt japonez. Încântat de cunoștință.
Încântată de cunoștință! Bine ai venit în România! Lucrezi?
Lucrez de 2 ani. Acum am 27 de ani.
In this lesson, you'll learn some of the most common greetings used in Romanian. Sunteți pregătiți? Are you ready? Să începem. Let's start. The most common greeting is bună. Bună. Bună means hi or hello. We can use it in formal and informal situations at any time of the day. It's very convenient. Bună. Now, let's look at some greetings that are used at certain times of the day. First is good morning. In Romanian, it is bună dimineața. Bună dimineața. For the rest of the day, we say bună ziua. Bună ziua. Bună ziua means good afternoon. This can be used all day as long as it's light outside. Once it starts to get dark, you can switch to this. Bună seara. Bună seara. Bună seara can mean good evening or good night, depending on the situation. Again, that's bună seara. Now, you can greet people in many different ways in Romanian. Let's review them all again. As a general greeting, bună. In the morning, bună dimineața. In the afternoon, bună ziua. In the evening or at night, bună seara. Pretty easy, right? Now, it's time for a look at insights. If you're not sure which greeting is appropriate to use, bună dimineața, bună ziua, or bună seara, just remember that bună can be used any time of the day.
Bună ziua! Vreau să cumpăr un pepene verde. Cât costă unul?
Acesta de 3 kg costă 3 lei.
Cât este aceasta în euro?
Înseamnă cam 60 de cenți euro.
O, așa de ieftin?
Da, în România, pepenii verzi sunt foarte ieftini.
In this lesson, you're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you're in a situation where you need help in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. Here's the formal way to say it. Vorbiți engleza? Vorbiți engleza. Again, this means, do you speak English? The word vorbiți is a form of the verb a vorbi, which means to speak. A vorbi is known as an e-verb because it ends in e. Most e-verbs conjugate in a similar way. We will show you how to properly conjugate e-verbs like a vorbi in future series at romanianpod101.com. Now, let's make this sentence informal. This is done by adding ești to the end of a vorbi after you cut the last vowel e. When we do that, we get vorbești. Altogether, vorbește engleza, vorbești engleza. This is the informal way to ask, do you speak English? The responses you receive could be one of these three. Da, vorbesc engleza, meaning yes, I speak English. Da, vorbesc engleza. Da, vorbesc puțin, meaning yes, I speak a little. Da, vorbesc puțin. Nu vorbesc engleza, meaning no, I don't speak English. Nu vorbesc engleza. In all of this, vorbesc means I speak. In the last one, we have nu vorbesc, which is the negative form. It means I don't speak. Now it's time for a look at insights. If you want to ask about a different language, just change the word engleza. Here are some language names to get you started. Italiana for Italian, Rusa for Russian, Franceza for French, Germana for German.
Hi everyone! How are your Romanian listening skills? In this video, you'll have a chance to test them out with a quiz. First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
O femeie îl întreabă ceva pe un vânzător dintr-o librărie. Ce carte dorește femeia să vadă? Vă rog să mă scuzați. Aș vrea să mă uit la o carte de pe raftul acela.
Ce carte doriți?
Aceea despre mașini.
Un moment, vă rog. Aceasta?
Da, aceea.
Poftim.
Ce carte dorește femeia să vadă? O femeie îl întreabă ceva pe un vânzător dintr-o librărie. Ce carte dorește femeia să vadă? Vă rog să mă scuzați. Aș vrea să mă uit la o carte de pe raftul acela.
Ce carte doriți?
Aceea despre mașini.
Un moment, vă rog. Aceasta?
Da, aceea.
Poftim.
Un bărbat și o femeie se uită pe un meniu la restaurant. Ce va comanda bărbatul?
Ce vei comanda?
Pizza arată delicios. Cred că o să o aleg pe aceasta.
Am mâncat pizza ieri, deci
Bine, atunci ce zici de hamburger?
sună bine. O să îl aleg pe acesta.
Ce va comanda bărbatul? Un bărbat și o femeie se uită pe un meniu la restaurant. Ce va comanda bărbatul?
Ce vei comanda?
Pizza arată delicios. Cred că o să o aleg pe aceasta.
Am mâncat pizza ieri, deci
Bine, atunci ce zici de hamburger?
sună bine. O să îl aleg pe acesta.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time.
In this lesson, we're going to learn how to apologize or say excuse me in Romanian. The basic phrase for excuse me is mă scuzați. Mă scuzați. We can also use it when asking a question. Mă scuzați, unde este baia? Meaning, excuse me, where is the restroom? Mă scuzați. Unde este baia? Another way to say excuse me is pardon. Pardon. Just like mă scuzați, we can use pardon when asking a question or when apologizing. Both of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is îmi pare rău. It means I'm sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Îmi pare rău. Unlike the others, îmi pare rău only has the meaning of I'm sorry and not excuse me. Now it's time for a look at insights. Please remember that if we accidentally bump into someone on the street, we don't usually say I'm sorry, îmi pare rău. Instead, we say mă scuzați or pardon, excuse me.
How are your Romanian listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Un bărbat sună la cabinetul unui medic. La ce oră trebuie să fie la cabinetul medicului? Alo, cu ce vă pot fi de folos?
La ce oră terminați programul astăzi?
Închidem la ora 6, dar vă rog să veniți înainte de 5:30.
Bine, mulțumesc.
La ce oră trebuie să fie la cabinetul medicului? Un bărbat sună la cabinetul unui medic. La ce oră trebuie să fie la cabinetul medicului? Alo, cu ce vă pot fi de folos?
La ce oră terminați programul astăzi?
Închidem la ora 6, dar vă rog să veniți înainte de 5:30.
Bine, mulțumesc.
Un băiat citește din jurnalul său. Care a fost primul lucru pe care băiatul l-a făcut astăzi?
Vremea a fost grozavă azi. În după-amiaza aceasta am fost să înot la piscină, iar seara am mers la un film. De asemenea, am învățat toată dimineața. Ziua de astăzi nu a fost rea.
Care a fost primul lucru pe care băiatul l-a făcut astăzi? Un băiat citește din jurnalul său. Care a fost primul lucru pe care băiatul l-a făcut astăzi?
Vremea a fost grozavă azi. În după-amiaza aceasta am fost să înot la piscină, iar seara am mers la un film. De asemenea, am învățat toată dimineața. Ziua de astăzi nu a fost rea.
O femeie și un bărbat se uită la o fotografie. La ce fotografie se uită? Aceasta este fotografia echipei de fotbal a fiului tău, nu-i așa? Care dintre ei este el?
Acesta.
Oh, el este cel mai înalt.
Da, e mai înalt ca mine.
La ce fotografie se uită? O femeie și un bărbat se uită la o fotografie. La ce fotografie se uită? Aceasta este fotografia echipei de fotbal a fiului tău, nu-i așa? Care dintre ei este el?
Acesta.
Oh, el este cel mai înalt.
Da, e mai înalt ca mine.
Hello, my name is Larisa, and today we are going to learn the top 25 most useful phrases in Romanian. Are you ready? Here we go. Bună! Hello. Bună! 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 Bună dimineața! Good morning. Bună dimineața! Bună dimineața! We usually say bună dimineața in a very formal way. So I would say bună dimineața to my parents when I wake up, or when I get to school to my professors. It's quite formal. But if I would say it to my cousins or brothers or sisters or friends, I can be friendly and say Neața. Bună ziua. Good afternoon. The next one is good afternoon. Good afternoon. Bună ziua. Bună ziua. So if I see my professor, bună ziua. Bună ziua. First we did hello as in bună. So we use bună and then we add the time of the day. Bună ziua. Bună seara. Good evening. Good evening, we say bună seara. Good evening. Bună seara. We learned how to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Good morning, bună dimineața. Good afternoon, bună ziua. And good evening, bună seara. Cum vă numiți? What's your name? When we meet someone and they don't introduce themselves, we might want to ask them their name. So if they're about the same age and you want to say it casual, you say cum te cheamă? Cum te cheamă? Or cum te numești? Cum te numești? For example, if I see a little girl and I want to ask her name, cum te cheamă? Or cum te numești? However, if I address an older person, I would say cum vă numiți? Cum vă numiți? Or cum vă cheamă? Cum vă cheamă? The polite way in Romanian to address someone is usually to put it in the plural form. Even if it's only one person, we address that person as if there are more people. It's funny because in English you have you for one person or for many people, but in Romanian you can address to one person as if you're addressing more people. And that is polite. Mă numesc Eva. My name is Eva. Let's say we asked a little girl, cum te cheamă? What's your name? And she might reply something like, sunt Eva. Sunt Eva. Or mă numesc Eva. Mă numesc Eva. Most of the times in Romania, we like to say I. So in Romanian, I is eu. Eu. That's why eu mă numesc Larisa. Eu mă numesc Larisa. Or numele meu, my name. Numele meu este Larisa. Încântat de cunoștință. And încântată de cunoștință. Nice to meet you. We have learned each other's names and I feel nice to meet you. I feel that I'm happy to meet you. So I would say încântată de cunoștință. Încântată de cunoștință. I'm a girl and I would put a at the end of the word. Încântată. Încântată de cunoștință. If I were a guy, I would say încântat. So I would end it with a T. Încântat. Ce mai faci? How are you? Usually when we meet someone in Romania, we say, hi, how are you? Bună, ce faci? Hi, how are you? Bună, ce faci? Without bună, just ce mai faci? It's more like, how have you been? Ce mai faci? How have you been? How are things going with you? How has it been going with you? Bună, ce mai faci? Or bună, ce faci? And the conversation would be very fast. Exchanging salutes would be bună, ce faci? Bine, tu? Bine, mulțumesc. Hi, how are you? Fine, thank you. And you? Great, thanks. Sunt bine, mulțumesc. Și tu? I'm fine, thanks. And you? If a professor would ask you, hi, how are you? They would say, bună ziua, ce mai faci? And I would say, mulțumesc, bine. Dumneavoastră? So I'm good, thank you. And you? I use dumneavoastră because it's the polite way to say you in Romanian. If I say you for one person, I would say tu. If I say you for and address it formally, I would say dumneavoastră. It's a bit long, but it's a useful word. I just want to mention one thing about mulțumesc. Just like in the you, for you is tu and dumneavoastră. So short word tu and longer word dumneavoastră, informal, formal. Mulțumesc is the Romanian, 100% Romanian word for thank you. But if we say thank you between friends, we might just say merci, which sounds like French. So it might be easier to remember for some people who study other European languages. But again, the most polite way to say is mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. And if you're between friends, merci. Merci. Vă rog. Please. So one example for very useful when we use please, like, could you please help me? Could you please help me? So I address someone that I don't know and I want to be polite. Like, could you please help me? Mă puteți ajuta, vă rog? Mă puteți ajuta, vă rog? When we want to say after you, we can just say please, as in please go ahead. Or after you, we would say vă rog. Vă rog. After you, vă rog. Or if I order something at the restaurant, a salad, o salată, vă rog. A salad, please. As in, I would like a salad. Just the short version, a salad, please. O salată, vă rog. Vă rog. Cu plăcere. You're welcome. So when someone says mulțumesc and say you're welcome, cu plăcere. Cu plăcere. This is one of my favorite words because I like how pleasure sounds like in English as well and in Romanian, plăcere. Romanians, so we believe that the Romanian language is a very sweet language and plăcere is one of the sweetest words that I know. Da. Yes. Da. Da. Da sounds like Russian because it's the same. Da. 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 Have to be very confident. Da. Nu. No. For no, we say nu. Nu. I did my hand like this, but so for gestures, when we say da, we nod, and for nu, we do like this. So, do you like the Romanian language? Da. Is it difficult? No. Something like that. Bine. Okay. Next one is okay. Okay. Bine. Bine. So for example, I said earlier, hey, how are you? I'm fine. Bună, ce faci? Bine. I'm okay. Bine. Mă scuzați. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Mă scuzați. Mă scuzați. It's a very polite way to say. If you address a friend of yours, mă scuzi. Mă scuzi. If you address it formally, mă scuzați. Mă scuzați. So if I'm on the bus and by mistake I happen to step on someone's foot or something, mă scuzați. Mă scuzați. Excuse me. Îmi pare rău. I'm sorry. So, excuse me is mă scuzați. And I'm sorry, îmi pare rău. Îmi pare rău. 3 words. Îmi pare rău. Cât este ceasul? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Cât este ceasul? Or cât e ceasul? So if someone asks me, cât este ceasul? Cât este ceasul? Or cât e ceasul? Este 11 și un sfert. Mulțumesc! It's 11:15. Thank you! Mulțumesc! You're welcome! Cu plăcere! Unde este toaleta? Where is the bathroom? I want to know where the bathroom is, so where's the bathroom? Unde este toaleta? Unde? Unde means where. Unde este toaleta? Unde este toaleta? Where is the bathroom? Așteptați un moment. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Așteptați un moment. Așteptați un moment. If I address it formally, așteptați. If I say it to one person, informally, așteaptă un moment. Așteaptă. Așteaptă, așteptați. Singular, plural. Cât costă aceasta? How much is this? How much is this? Cât costă aceasta? Or cât costă acesta? The simple way to say how much, cât costă. If it's a female word, aceasta. If it's a masculine word, acesta. Female, aceasta. Masculine, acesta. Aceasta, acesta. How much? Cât costă? Cât costă? Aceasta? Da. Pot să primesc nota de plată, vă rog? Could I get the check, please? The next one is a bit long. Could I get the check, please? Pot să primesc nota de plată, vă rog? Pot să primesc nota de plată, vă rog? The most important word is the check, nota de plată. If you want to say check, please, nota, vă rog. I would do something like nota, vă rog. Mulțumesc. Something like that. Ajutor. Help. Help! Ajutor! Ajutor! Ne vedem mai târziu. See you later. Next one is see you later. See you later. Ne vedem mai târziu. Ne vedem mai târziu. See you later. La revedere. Goodbye. Goodbye. La revedere. La revedere. Can you do the R? Revedere. La revedere. La revedere. We also say pa between friends. Pa. Papa. Or when we address children. Pa. Pa. But la revedere is very common. Nu știu. I don't know. I don't know. Nu știu. Do you know? I don't know. Nu știu. Hello everyone. My name is Larisa, and today we're going to learn the 25 top verbs in Romanian. Are you ready? A fi, to be. So our first verb, a fi, it means to be. Let's see an example. Ea este sora mea mai mică. She is my little sister. Ea este sora mea mai mică. I didn't have a sister, but I do have many soul sisters, and they mean the world to me. A plăcea, to like. Our next verb, a plăcea, to like. Îmi place să mă plimb dimineața. I like to take a walk in the morning. Îmi place să mă plimb dimineața. I usually like to take long walks in the morning, but I'm too lazy to wake up, so that's a bit difficult and rare. A face, to do. Our next verb, a face, to do. De data aceasta, el și-a făcut tema foarte bine. This time, he did his homework very well. De data aceasta, el și-a făcut tema foarte bine. Good for him, whoever you are. Good job. A spune, to say. A spune, to say. Ea a spus că va fi acasă în seara aceasta. She said that she would be home this evening. Ea a spus că va fi acasă în seara aceasta. In this example, a spus is past tense. A explica, to explain. Our next verb is a explica, to explain. Învățătorul explică lecția. The teacher explains the lesson. Învățătorul explică lecția. In this example, învățătorul is a masculine form, so învățătorul is a male teacher. If we want to say a female teacher, it would be învățătoarea. Învățătoarea. A auzi, to hear. Our next verb, a auzi, to hear. Am auzit trupa cântând la un concert. We heard the band play a concert. In this example, am auzit can refer to us, as in we heard, or is I heard. So I heard and we heard is the same form. Am auzit, past tense. A merge, to go. Our next verb is a merge, to go. Vara trecută am mers la Disneyland. Last summer I went to Disneyland. Or last summer we went to Disneyland. In Romanian, if I say am mers, it can be myself or it can be in plural form we. So I went or we went. Am mers. Yeah, usually if it's a lot of sun, I really don't mind wearing something like this. If not in Disneyland, then where? Don't you think so? A ști, to know. Next verb, a ști, to know. Știu că ești obosit, așa că o să te sun mai târziu. I know you're tired, so I will call you later. Știu că ești obosit, așa că o să te sun mai târziu. To know is my favorite word. A ști. Îmi place să știu. I love to know. A lua, to take. A lua, to take. Când am fost bolnav, am luat acest medicament. I took this medicine when I was sick. In my case, because I'm a woman, I would say când am fost bolnavă. So, bolnav, bolnavă. Când am fost bolnavă, am luat acest medicament. Male version. Când am fost bolnav, am luat acest medicament. And female version. Când am fost bolnavă, am luat acest medicament. A vedea, to see. A vedea, to see. Aseară am văzut un film la cinematograful cel nou. We saw a movie at the new cinema last night. Aseară am văzut un film la cinematograful cel nou. A veni, to come. A veni, to come. Am venit acasă după ce am mâncat la restaurantul italian. We came home after eating at the Italian restaurant. Am venit acasă după ce am mâncat la restaurantul italian. Again, it can be a sentence about myself or about us. It's the same form of the verb. Am venit, am mâncat. A gândi, to think. A gândi, to think. El nu a putut gândi nicio altă posibilitate. He couldn't think of any other possibility. El nu a putut gândi nicio altă posibilitate. A privi, to look. A privi, to look. Hai să mergem să privim apusul. Let's go look at the sunset. Hai să mergem să privim apusul. A vrea, to want. A vrea, to want. Astăzi vreau să stau acasă. Today I want to stay home. Astăzi vreau să stau acasă. A da, to give. A da, to give. I-am dat un cadou de ziua ei. I gave her a present for her birthday. I-am dat un cadou de ziua ei. A folosi, to use. A folosi, to use. Fata a folosit telefonul meu mobil ca să o sune pe mama ei. The girl used my cell to call her mother. Fata a folosit telefonul meu mobil ca să o sune pe mama ei. Hello, Mom. I love you. Bye. So in Romanian, of course, it's okay to say my mobile phone, telefonul meu mobil. But sometimes, because we want to make like economy word, we might just say mobile. So you can use my mobile. Poți folosi mobilul meu, my mobile. And it means mobile phone. So you can choose your words. Long version or economic version. It's the same meaning. A ieși, to go out. A ieși, to go out. Era prea frig pentru a ieși să se întâlnească cu prietenii lor. It was too cold to go out to meet their friends. Era prea frig pentru a ieși să se întâlnească cu prietenii lor. A lucra. To work. A lucra. To work. Va fi atât de distractiv să lucrez la proiectul acesta împreună cu toți prietenii mei. It will be so much fun to work with all my friends on this project. Va fi atât de distractiv să lucrez la proiectul acesta împreună cu toți prietenii mei. A intra. To enter. A intra. To enter. Te rog, așteaptă până când tatăl tău va intra pe poarta principală. Please wait until your father enters the main gate. Te rog, așteaptă până când tatăl tău va intra pe poarta principală. A simți. To feel. A simți. To feel. După ce ea a plecat, Alex începuse să se simtă foarte trist. After she left, Alex began to feel very sad. După ce ea a plecat, Alex începuse să se simtă foarte trist. A încerca. To try. A încerca. To try. Câinele a încercat să mă muște și să mă zgârie. The dog tried to bite and scratch me. Câinele a încercat să mă muște și să mă zgârie. Oh my. A pleca. To leave. Our next verb, a pleca, to leave. După ultima ceartă, ea a fost pregătită să plece din oraș. After the last fight, she was ready to leave the city. După ultima ceartă, ea a fost pregătită să plece din oraș. A suna. To call. A suna. To call. Te rog, nu uita să îl suni pe doctor pentru a-mi anula programarea. Please don't forget to call the doctor to cancel my appointment. Te rog, nu uita să îl suni pe doctor pentru a-mi anula programarea. Please don't forget. A alerga. To run. A alerga. To run. Soțul meu m-a întrebat dacă vreau să alerg cu el în parc. My husband asked me if I wanted to run with him in the park. Soțul meu m-a întrebat dacă vreau să alerg cu el în parc. A locui. To live. And our last verb for today, a locui. To live. Locuiesc aproape de pădure. I live close to the forest. Locuiesc aproape de pădure. I wish. Hi everyone, my name is Larissa, and today we are going to learn the 10 must-know autumn vocabulary. Here we go. Pullover, sweater. Our first word, pullover, sweater. Aceste pulovere sunt foarte elegante. These sweaters are very elegant. Aceste pulovere sunt foarte elegante. For English speakers, I believe pullover, sweater, is easy to remember because you just pull something over. You pull it over. So, pullover, sweater. Ploios, rainy. Our next word is ploios. It means rainy, ploios. Furtunile din timpul sezonului ploios pot cauza întârzieri. Storms during the rainy season can cause delays. Furtunile din timpul sezonului ploios pot cauza întârzieri. That happens quite often, doesn't it? Vântos, windy. Our next word, vântos, windy. În luna martie va fi vreme vântoasă, dar caldă. In March, the weather will be warm, but windy. În luna martie, vremea va fi vântoasă, dar caldă. Răcoros, cool. Our next word, răcoros, cool. Din cauza vremii răcoroase, condițiile de condus au fost dificile. Because of the cool weather, the driving conditions were difficult. Din cauza vremii răcoroase, condițiile de condus au fost dificile. Toamnă, autumn. Our next word is toamnă, autumn. My favorite season. Raportul final va fi gata la toamnă. The final report will be ready in the autumn. Raportul final va fi gata la toamnă. This is a very funny expression in Romanian. My family usually uses it when they want to say that something will never happen. So, when are you going to clean your room? In autumn. That's never going to happen or something like that. So, it's a funny expression. Rece, cold. So, in autumn, the weather gets cold. Therefore, our next word will be rece, cold. For example, puneți degetul în apă rece pentru 5 minute. Put your finger in cold water for 5 minutes. Puneți degetul în apă rece pentru 5 minute. Castană, chestnut. Castană, chestnut. Această prăjitură cu castane este delicioasă. This chestnut cake is delicious. Această prăjitură cu castane este delicioasă. So we usually use more than one chestnut in a cake. That's why we say the plural form, prăjitură cu castane. Singular form, castană. Plural form, castane. Do you like chestnut cake? Cămașă cu mânecă lungă. Long-sleeved shirt. Our next word, cămașă cu mânecă lungă. Long-sleeved shirt. Este prea cald ca să porți o cămașă cu mânecă lungă. It's too hot to wear a long-sleeved shirt. Este prea cald ca să porți o cămașă cu mânecă lungă. Frunze căzătoare. Falling leaves. Next is frunze căzătoare. Falling leaves. Frunzele căzătoare protejează rădăcinile plantelor mele. The falling leaves are protecting the roots of my plants. Frunzele căzătoare protejează rădăcinile plantelor mele. We have an expression in Romanian when there are a lot of falling leaves on the ground, and we say it looks like a carpet, like a Persian carpet. So we use this expression to talk about the beauty of an autumn scenery. Frunză, leaf. For our last word, we have frunză. One leaf, frunză. Câinele se joacă cu un morman de frunze moarte. The dog plays with a pile of dead leaves. Câinele se joacă cu un morman de frunze moarte. So one leaf, it's frunză, o frunză, and the plural form frunze. Frunză, frunze. There it is.
When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to know how to improve your listening and speaking skills, be able to save conversations, listen to them as many times as you want, and learn hundreds of practical everyday conversations? Well, there is an easy way to do this. In this video, we'll go over how to speak more using the dialogue track. So, what is the dialogue track? The dialogue track is an audio track with just the conversation from the lesson. It's only about 10 to 30 seconds long. Let's say you're looking at a 5-minute lesson about ordering food at a restaurant. First, you hear a conversation. Then our teachers explain every grammar rule and translate every word, so you know what it all means. That's where the dialogue track comes in. It gives you just the conversation. Here's what makes the dialogue track so powerful. First, you can quickly review the conversation without re-listening to the lesson. The dialogue track is just 10 to 30 seconds long, so it won't take you very long to cover both new and old information. This makes it perfect for a quick review of what you've just learned, and it helps keep it fresh in your brain. Second, you'll remember the conversations easier. Listen on repeat, like you would with a song, and the words, phrases, and grammar rules will stick better. And the more you come back to re-listen, the better it will all stick. Third, you'll speak more of your target language. So if you have 10, 20, or 100 dialogue tracks like that, then you have 10, 20, or 100 conversations that you'll know inside out and that you can use in real life. For example, conversations like catching up with friends, ordering at a restaurant, talking about your family, introducing yourself, and much, much more. Fourth, you improve your listening skills and can immerse yourself in the language. So imagine you've finished 20 lessons and you've downloaded 20 dialogue tracks to your phone. That's 20 conversations. You can create a playlist and play those 20 tracks and get used to the language and immerse yourself. To recap what we just learned, here's what you do to make the most of the dialogue tracks. First, after you finish a lesson, download the dialogue track. Save it to your computer or phone so you can listen to it on repeat whenever possible. Just replace 3 to 15 minutes of music listening for some language review. Next, if you've finished 20 lessons, you should have 20 dialogue tracks. Use those to create a playlist of these dialogue tracks so that you can listen to all kinds of conversations. And finally, try shadowing the conversations that you hear. This will become super easy once you've heard the conversation enough times. But if you're still struggling with a word or two, go back to the lesson and check the line-by-line breakdown of the conversation to find the words you need to practice. Boost your speaking skills with the dialogue track and check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When you start out learning a foreign language, everything is exciting. You pick up new words and basic phrases fairly quickly. The first time you say a greeting or answer the question, "How are you?" you might even get a little thrill. Speaking fluently doesn't feel that far off, and at this point, it really does seem like language learning isn't all that difficult. But after a week or two, things begin to change. After a few weeks of study, you start to hit walls as you're faced with strange grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Everything about learning a new language seemed promising and hopeful before, but now you start to realize how difficult it's going to be. Speaking the language now feels like a long, far-off goal that you may or may not achieve one day. But don't let the innocence of being an absolute beginner or the disillusionment of being an experienced learner discourage you from learning. Speaking a new language may not be as far off as you thought. In this video, we'll look at 3 tips to help you practice your speaking skills, no matter what level you're at. Number 1, practice with native speakers. Practicing with native speakers is by far one of the most effective things you can do to improve your speaking abilities. Think of speaking a foreign language as riding a bike. After a certain point, you can't read or theorize about how to do it. You have to actually do it. If you can practice speaking with native speakers who correct you and give good feedback, then you'll be well on your way to improving your speaking. But where can you find native speakers to practice with? If you live in or near a major city, there's a good chance there are some native speakers there. You might even get lucky and discover an entire community. Do a little research into the demographics of your city, or simply keep your eyes open the next time you go through town. You can also attend a language exchange or cultural event. Meetup is a site for local enthusiast groups, and there are usually some language-speaking clubs or cultural clubs there. If you're unable to find native speakers where you live, then jump online and find them there. There are a lot of free online exchanges that allow you to connect with other language learners from all over the globe via text, audio, or video chat. Look for a speaker who is learning your native language. You can spend an hour or so helping each other in your respective target languages. This is a highly practical and helpful way to learn. It's also a great way to learn more directly about the culture you're studying in a real way. Number 2, devote some time to learning pronunciation. Pronunciation often isn't the first skill people think of working on when learning a foreign language, but that doesn't mean that it isn't important. Truth be told, you don't absolutely need a great accent to speak or understand every language. However, a decent accent can vastly improve your listening and speaking abilities in ways you might not expect. Being able to pronounce words and sounds makes it a lot easier for you to remember and understand new words simply by hearing them. If you can physically make a sound with your mouth, then you can mentally remember it. Once you have a good accent, the new language won't sound as foreign as it once did, and you'll be able to understand rapid speech, as well as pick up the definition of new words based on their conversational context. But how can you improve your accent? If you're serious about developing your accent, then you'll want to dissect the language's sound system into its individual parts. First by letters, then individual words, followed by whole phrases. Start doing some mild research on the phonetics of your target language. You don't have to get too technical here. Just try to get an idea of some of the main differences between it and your native language. Find out where native speakers usually put their tongue while saying certain sounds. Or pay attention to the shape of their mouths when they speak. Is it open or closed? These subtle differences are what really help you improve. Once you get the letters down, start listening to native audio and compare your pronunciation to the native speakers. Our language learning program's playback feature is a great way to accomplish this. Take a phrase from a lesson and start by practicing the individual words, playing the audio back at a slower speed and then again at a regular speed. After comparing your speech to the audio, combine the words to make complete phrases, imitating the intonation of the native speakers. This precise method of pronunciation practice is one of the most efficient and effective ways to learn pronunciation. Number 3, imitate, don't just repeat. Anytime you speak, do your best to imitate the native speakers you've heard and practice with. Match the way their intonation rises and falls. Pay attention to their word order. It's even a good idea to match some of their body language. This degree of imitation will probably feel weird at first, but it reinforces fluency in the language and breaks you out of the parrot trap, where you simply learn and speak through rote memorization or repetition. This is a common problem that's often cited with other less effective language learning methods. Speaking a language is like playing music or dancing. You don't want to just know it. You want to live in the moment and feel it as you use it. You don't sit and think of what you're going to say in your native language before you say it. Why would you expect to do the same in a new one? Don't let ruffled expectations make you think that speaking a new language is impossible. Yes, it's difficult, but it probably isn't as difficult as you think it is. With a little determination and some faithful practice, you might be surprised how quick and how far you can progress. Use these tips to better practice the language and see real results in your speaking abilities. And for even more ways to practice your speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.